Range script loaded, you can now press Escape, select Choose Slot, and pick your aircraft. The Saab Gripen is armed with a single Rheinmetall BK-27 cannon. This is a mature weapon, originally designed in the late 60s for the Panavia Tornado, and currently employed also on the Eurofighter Typhoon. It is a 27mm 5-chamber drum revolver design. Unlike the Vulcan or other electrically driven Gatling-style guns, the BK-27 has a much quicker startup time while consuming much less electric power. The cannon is configured to fire salvos of up to 10 rounds if you hold the trigger down. You can fire even shorter bursts if you just touch the trigger. You have a total of 120 rounds in the aircraft. The spent casings are ejected at the back of the gun pod. For this training mission, we will use a weapons range that uses objects created by the 476 Virtual Fighter Group, and a hit counting script developed by the user Siribob, that will allow you to gauge your accuracy and monitor your progress. Your goal is to make at least 2 gun strafing passes through the weapons range, and hit each gun target at least once. You can access the gun shooting statistics calling up the F10 option of the communications menu. Press spacebar to begin the mission. We will contact the Air Traffic Controller, ATC, to request clearance to taxi. Press the COM1 button on the UCP. On the communications menu, select F5, ATC, F1, Saipan International, F3, Request Startup. As we have seen on previous missions, DCS does not detect our aircraft status, so we must request startup again even if our aircraft is already started. The communications menu should be still open, select F1, Request Taxi to Runway. After a few seconds, ATC should clear you to taxi to a designated runway. Take note of the runway that has been assigned. On this mission, ATC should assign runway 7. Your aircraft is ready to taxi, increase throttle and let the aircraft move forward. Once the aircraft is moving, press the wheel brakes to confirm their operation. Release the wheel brakes and resume the taxi. Be careful of other traffic that may be near you. Good, now turn right and proceed west along the border of the ramp, towards the runway start. Reduce speed a bit and turn left slightly, onto Street G. Next, turn slightly to the right and continue taxiing on runway 24. We are nearing the end of runway 24, reduce speed and turn left onto Street H.
Dodge 1, passing waypoint 3 at 1,200. Dodge 1, passing waypoint 4 at 1,200. Dodge 1, passing waypoint 5 at 900.
You are now almost at runway 07, stop just short of entering it and call ATC for clearance. Good, now press COM1 to contact ATC. Select F1. Request takeoff. Once ATC has given clearance, increase throttle, turn left to enter the runway, align with its center line, and stop the aircraft for a final check. DCS has a bug which sometimes prevents ATC from transmitting his clearance, so, if ATC does not answer, increase throttle, and turn left to enter the runway anyway. Align with its center line, and stop the aircraft for a final check. Once you are aligned with the runway center line, bring the aircraft to a halt.
Enfield 1-1, unable to clear for takeoff.
From a previous training mission, you should already know the drill. Perform a brief before takeoff check. 4.1. Canopy. Confirm it's closed and locked. 4.3. Landing lights. Change from taxi to landing lights.
Dodge 1,
4.4. Auxiliary power unit. Check it's running. 4.5. Speed brakes. Confirm they are closed.
Dodge 1, pushing from waypoint 6 at 600.
We are now ready to take off. Press wheel brakes, increase throttle to military power. As the engine accelerates through 90%, release brakes to prevent skidding the tires. Use the rudder pedals, or Z and X keys, to maintain the aircraft aligned with the runway.
Dodge
Once
1,
the rotation
RTB
cue
at
on the head
500.
creeps upward, pull back on the control stick to raise the nose. On the air. Retract the landing gear by clicking the handle. Don't exceed 330 knots with the gear down. For optimum initial climb, keep the X-axis symbol between the top of the two vertical poles. Keep the current heading, climb to 3,000 feet and accelerate to 350 knots. Turn right towards a heading of 180 degrees. Maintain 350 knots and 3,000 feet altitude.
Colt 1, airborne.
Turn right again. The weapons range is on the north tip of Tinian Island, on a heading of 270 degrees. The gun strafing pits are on the southern side of the range. Keep 350 knots and 3,000 feet altitude. We have paused the mission briefly, to guide you through the weapons procedure. It has two parts: weapon preparation, and weapon use. 1. Set air to ground mode. Press the 7 key. This will configure the mission computer for the use of air-to-ground weapons, including the cannon. 2. Select cannon. Press the C key to select the cannon as the currently active weapon. On the HUD the gun symbology will show. 3. Master Arm Safety Switch, set to live. This enables all the weapon firing circuits of the aircraft. After these 3 steps, the cannon is ready to use. For the actual firing, follow these next steps. 4. Trigger Safety. Up. On the flight stick, click on the trigger safety cover. It will remain up until you click on it again. 5.
Airborne.
Place the gun reticle on the HUD, over target and keep it there. 6. Wait for the LA, in range, symbology to appear on the HUD. 5. Press and hold the gun trigger to shoot. The maximum salvo will consist of 10 rounds. To fire again you must release the trigger and press it again. We will now describe the elements of the HUD when in air-to-ground mode. It should be noted that a native Gripen HUD for this mode is not yet developed, so the Su-25T HUD format is employed in the meantime. Please note that this does not mean that the Su-25T gun is being used. The mod developers have configured DCS so that the Gripen gun is simulated accurately, including the use of gun sounds sampled from an actual BK-27. Zoom the display so that you can see the HUD symbology better, using the asterisk and slash keys of the numeric keypad. The most important HUD symbology is the gun aim circle, with its central dot. It shows the point and the ground that the bullets will hit at any given moment. The inner left scale displays the range to the target, with an arrow showing the current range and 2 blocks that represent the maximum and minimum range for the selected weapon. Once the weapon is within target range, an LQ will appear. The remaining ammunition is represented in quarters, each quarter being 30 rounds. When no ammunition is left, the symbol will show 0 quarters. Unlike the navigation HUD, the right scale shows the altitude in meters rather than feet. An R designates if the altitude is being generated by the radar altimeter instead of the barometric altimeter. The leftmost scale displays the speed in knots, while on the top of the HUD is the speed in kilometers per hour. Press spacebar to unpause and continue the mission.
Colt 1, passing waypoint 2 at 4,500. Overlord 1-1, passing waypoint 2 at 5,000. Uzi 1, passing waypoint 3 at 5,000. Uzi 1, passing waypoint 4 at 5,000.
First pass. Turn left 180 degrees towards a heading of 90 degrees and perform another pass. Try to aim to a different target.
Passing waypoint 3 at 5,000. Uzi 1, passing waypoint 5 at 5,000.
Second pass, turn left 180 degrees towards a heading of 90 degrees and perform a third pass. The F10 option of the communications menu allows you to check your gunnery results.
1, passing waypoint 3 at 9,000. 1, pushing from waypoint 6 at 4,000. Station at bullseye 23643 at 4,500. Colt 1, passing waypoint 4 at 9,000. Uzi 1, pushing from waypoint 6 at 4,500.
Pull up.
Overlord 1, passing waypoint 3 at 10,000.
Third pass, if you still have ammunition left,
Overlord
you can
1,
turn left to go
passing
around
waypoint
and
4
perform
at
another pass if
10,000.
you want. If you are finished, then turn right, to a heading of 90 degrees and return to
Enfield
Saipan Air
Airborne.
Base. You can check your range results by calling up the communications menu. Select F10, Other, then select F1, Range. Finally, click F1, My Strafe Results. Before returning to base, we must disarm the armament. We have paused the mission again, to guide you through this procedure. 1. Trigger safety. Down.
Colt 1,
On the
passing
flight
waypoint
stick,
5 at
click on the trigger
7,000.
safety cover. 2. Master arm safety switch, set to safe. This disables all the weapon firing circuits. 3. Set navigation mode. Press the 1 key. This will configure the mission computer for navigation.
Overlord
Press spacebar
1,
to
passing
unpause and
waypoint
continue
5
the
at
mission.
8,000.
You have finished the gunnery part of the training. Do you want to practice the return and landing back to base? Press spacebar to continue, or press backspace to finish the training now. Head towards Saipan Air Base, ahead of us, and begin final approach. We have paused the mission once again, so that we can do a quick review of the landing checklist. 1. Flight instruments. Check heading, altitude and speed. 2. APU check that its switch is on. It will auto-activate at touchdown. 3. Landing gear lever. Extend once you are under 300 knots.
3,500.
4. Landing lights. Confirm they are at land position. 5. Landing mode. Confirm it is enabled. NL should be displayed at the top left of the HUD and the glide slope line should be visible. 6. Flaps. They are automatic and don't need to be manipulated. Press COM1 to contact
Colt 1,
ATC.
on station at
Select
pulse 013 for
F5,
40 at 2,400.
F1, Saipan International, F1,
Colt 1,
inbound.
pushing from waypoint
Press
1,
spacebar once
12,000.
ATC answers our
2,
communication.
450 at 4,500. 500. Fly heading 24143. QFE 29.70. Runway 07. To pass
If,
altitude.
later on, you hear ATC messaging you with contact tower, press COM1 and select F1, request landing. Press spacebar to unpause the mission. Press COM1 to contact Saipan ATC, and call inbound. As you get near to the airbase, ATC will contact you. At that point answer with request landing. You are now on final approach. Maneuver to align with runway 07. Use the landing symbology, positioning the dot on the desired touchdown spot and then follow the glide slope, placing the FPM at the same point. Touchdown. Once your speed is below 40 knots, exit on the next available street, to the left. This is Street D, proceed north towards runway 24.
At 7,000.
You have landed safely back at Saipan. Do you want to practice the taxi to the ramp? Press spacebar to continue, or press backspace to finish the training now. This is runway 24, proceed west, towards the ramp. Set the main lights to their taxi position.
Overlord 1-1, pushing from waypoint 6 at 4,000. Enfield, passing waypoint 4 at 7,000.
On the upcoming Street C, turn right to enter the ramp zone.
Enfield, passing waypoint 5 at 6,000.
You are now at the ramp. Taxi towards your spot on the flight line, following the route shown on the diagram. You have arrived safely to the flight ramp at Saipan. Do you want to practice the shutdown? Press spacebar to continue, or press backspace to finish the training now.
Enfield, On station at bullseye 009, 445 at 4000.
You are at the correct parking position. Apply your not 1 seat set to safe by clicking on it. Two, APU check that it is running, its green light is illuminated. 3. Throttle. Place at its stop position, full back. 5. Anti-collision light. Set to off. 6. Formation lights. Set to off. 7. Landing lights. Set to off. 8. Auxiliary power unit. Set to off. 9. Fuel cock. First, lift its cover, by clicking on the cover's hinge. Next, click on the fuel switch itself, to set it to off. 10. Main power. Wait until the RPM gauge shows 0%. If necessary, click the highlighted MFD button, to display the engine page. Now, wait a further 10 seconds and then set the power switch to off. 11. Canopy. Click on its lever, to open it. 12. Parking brake. Enable, its handle should be pushed in. Finally, press the communication key and select F8. Ground crew. F4. Wheel chocks and ladder. F1. Place wheel chocks and ladder. After a few seconds, the crew will comply and attach the ladder to your right.
Copy. Wheel chocks are now in place.
Congratulations, you have not only managed to perform your gun strafing training, but you have also done a visual approach, landing, taxi to ramp and shutdown practice.